Howdy, howdy, everybody. Here we go. Happy Friday. Admit everybody in the waiting room. What? That's not it. Admit all. Hope you guys are all doing well. People flowing in. See Kylie, Zayas, Hubert. I think that's Ray's. Yeah, Ray.
Hey, everybody.
Howdy, howdy. There's my, there we go. Sound is on. I don't think my sound is off, Connie. That was, you saying you can hear me now. Yep.
Hi, everybody. And let me just run there.
So who's got something to work on? It's Friday. It's always amazing to me how fast the week goes by. Hey, Lasha. Welcome everyone. We're here. If anyone has something they want to work on, feel free to shout out. Otherwise,
Hi. Hello.
Hey. Hi, Kylie.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
I have struggled with learning AutoHotkeys. I'm really early on and really early doors. I love it, but yeah, I'm really early doors, and I'm struggling with one of the codes that I think I got from your site. So I was wondering if I could just show you what I've done wrong.
No, we have no warranty on our code. I'm kidding.
It's user error. It's user error, I'm sure.
Oh, don't worry about it. And the thing is, which we all have to remember, we're all always learning, right? Like this is the thing, is we're at different stages, but yeah, no worries at all. I mean, I don't have a background in programming, right? Like I just took a long time and kept learning and learning. But yeah, can you share your screen?
Yeah. So this is me, and I was trying to learn. I was trying to use the I think it's like the one the program where it kind of like automates things for you.
Yeah, automate my task. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, so I've done this, and that's as far as I've got. This one and this one, but I just can't seem to get it to work.
Yeah, well, to start, I don't know. Is Zayas, do you recall, is script object actually in automate my task? I guess it is. I know we use it in almost everything, but
Right.
automate my task has been around for a while.
Yes, let me double check if I updated that a while ago, because I think I did.
Do you, Kylie, do you have the actual? I don't know, actually, it's been so long since I actually launched it. Automate my task script itself, because neither of those are I think the main script. There you go. Yeah, so the automate my task right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you launch that?
Yeah, I think we updated that a while ago, but
yeah. So yeah, first off, and this is where when you get the files from us, there is a structure, right, of where our files expect other files to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's correct.
That script object folder, when you unzip them, it should be next to that file, I believe.
So let me, can I have control for a second of the computer? Is that okay?
Yeah, do you want me to? I don't know what to do that though.
Don't worry,
yeah.
I will send you a request. It would show up on your screen. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So let's double check these exactly. So I'm sorry. This structure that is here should be preserved when you extract everything. So if you select all the files and drop them down, I'm going to replace the one that was there already. Now, if I go ahead and double click, it should work now. You see? So it looks like you extracted only one file, which
Yeah.
was this one here,
Yeah.
but you didn't extract the
Well,
others.
Well, she did, because if you go back to site, you can see the script object file, but it just was in a different location.
Right. It looks like it was actually, this was saved to the AutoHotkey folder. Probably you tried to put it in the main library folder from AutoHotkey.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know what I did. I was just clicking.
No worries. But in general, just extracting everything and keeping it in the same structure as it is, it usually is how it should be. That is in the case that the script is not compiled. If the script is compiled, you usually don't need to worry about those things. The things that we like to give people the source code, and then you have to understand that the way how the folder structure is located, this file is actually expecting this file to be there. If it is not there, then it would complain about it and it would say, hey, I don't know why I cannot find that particular file, but it's just that these three files should be together. Wherever you put them, you can put them in a different folder if you want to have them, if you don't want to have a lot of files.
Especially, you might consider like creating an AMT or Automate My Task folder and putting it under that, right? That way that way when you download another one that has an LIB or an RES folder, they're not blending.
Yeah.
Right. So I would have these three files in here. That way, whenever you want to work with this one, it should just work totally fine here. And any other scripts that you have, if they have a lib folder like that one, it would not kind of like clash with each other because they're all in their own little island. That's how I would keep it.
Oh, that's exciting. That's my weekend sorted out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
So
you.
let me go ahead and give up the control there, and you can, if you have an additional question, just
While you're sharing your screen, why don't, if you're interested, why don't we launch it again? Actually launch Automate My Task and just do a really quick example, because I think a lot of people here have used the tool. So you would select it and then hit F1, and F1 says, okay, what do I want to look for? Right. So now move your mouse over basically let's go to anything you want, like the settings, Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. So now it's giving you a preview over on the right. Right. So because see how it's blue right now? Well, if your mouse moves away, it's not blue. So when it goes to search, it's not going to be blue. Right. This is why you mouse over it, you hit F1. Now move away. Now see how it's normal? Okay, now we're good to go. So hit F1 again. That's going to set that. So now you should be good. Now what I typically do is over on the right, I go over to the display matches and Automate My Task GUI. And I first go down.
So let me
to the right.
right here, display matches.
Yeah. So just click that, and hey, look, it found it, and it
right there.
Yeah, and importantly, it was the first one. If there happened to be 2 or 3, then you'd say, oh, maybe I want to, I want to find, and when it finds this, I want the third instance, right? And that's where you might change it. But you can also, you can try testing it. Now, it's going to just go and click it, but that really won't do anything. It might highlight it. So yeah, so it worked, right? Now, here's the part, this is what all of this is, you would have figured out in 5 minutes, I think, right? This next step is why I wanted to walk through it. So go down to the bottom right and hit export. So that just dumped everything, both the function and the code we just wrote to do that little action and dumped it onto your clipboard, right?
So if you go to another place, yeah.
Well, hold on. So go back to on the bottom left where it says just function call. Yeah, select that and now hit export, and you're going to see much less, right? So now it's just that's just the code you need if you have the perform action function in your library. right?
Right.
If you don't have it in your library, which is this, if you're going to start using the tool a lot, I would recommend putting that function into your library, and then you don't have to include it. It's just there all the time.
Yeah, you've already lost me, but yeah, I've got that.
So
Yeah, so
AutoHotkey automatically searches 3 places. If it's looking for a function and you didn't have it right here, it's going to look in 3 places, right? And that's basically what we're taking advantage of. So uncheck the just function call, because we need to get the function, and hit export again. And this is going to shove it all back on the clipboard. And then go to site for AutoHotkey.
that would be
Sure.
your editor, which is in
Oh,
the
yeah.
desktop, I think here. Yeah.
And now I've hit Control N. We just want a new file.
Control N or M for mother.
N as in
for-
Nancy.
for new. Yeah.
Right. There you go.
And then just paste. And then go to the very top. And so right now, this is a fully contained, it has the script, which is lines 1 and 2, and actually 3 and 4.
Right.
And then the function is from 6 down, right?
Right.
So what we're going to do is first delete 1 through 5.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no stress.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we're going to save, this is the function, this perform action, and it could be whatever name you want, right? We're going to save that into one of the 3 places that I mentioned. So
Yeah.
just hit save,
Save.
and it's going to ask you where, and this is where
Right here in AutoHotkey, you can create a new folder. Just right click there. Right click, create a new folder. Call it lib.
but hold on, is this,
Yeah, this is in, well, is this your document? So if you click on documents, does it take you there to AutoHotkey? I'm sorry, it's true. Because it has to
This
be on
is
the
like-
documents.
This is like in my D drive. This
Right.
Oh, no, so but the folder must be then in the documents folder, the one, well, one of them. There's 3 locations that are searched automatically.
Okay.
One of them is in the documents folder. If you don't want to set it there, you can go then to the C drive where AutoHotkey is installed. I
wherever
don't know
you
if you have it in
install
there. Right, exactly. Wherever you installed AutoHotkey. Which one do you prefer to use?
I prefer to use my D drive, but I'll have to just put it wherever it needs to go.
You could set, well, that's a little bit of an advanced topic, but if you don't want to, so if you want to keep your D drive as it is right now, it's better than to go to the C drive where AutoHotkey is installed. Or where did you uninstall AutoHotkey? Is it here?
what I would,
I knew you'd ask me that. I don't know.
yeah, no worries.
Oh.
What I would consider, Kylie, if you really want to use your D drive, is uninstalling AutoHotkey and reinstalling it on your D drive.
In your D drive, yeah.
Yeah, and then you
Okay.
can use your D drive, right? And
Right.
yeah.
So if you want, I can go ahead and help you out because that might be a easier, quicker if I do it. Is that okay?
Perfect.
No, just in case if you want. But let me request again. That's okay.
So the reason why, Kylie, is you saw all of that code, right? In the big version. If you're going to use automate my task a lot, there's no reason to have the entire function in
Over
everything.
and over again.
Yeah, we just put it in one spot, and then AutoHotkey will find it. And all you need is that one line of code, and it's just so much cleaner and easier to work with.
As long as that bunch, that mess of code, as long as that's somewhere.
Right. This is the point. So what we're trying, what you're referring to as a mess of code is
So
just
something
is
painstaking.
just a group of
Yeah.
actions. So it's a group of actions that right now you do not understand, but this group of actions can be called over and over again just by calling it by this name. That's it. So you don't have to remember the whole thing. You just have to remember this one name. Now, what we're trying to do is putting it somewhere so that you do not have to refer to it over and over again. You just have to have it once. So what we're trying to do is just that, but so that we do not mess a lot with your system, what we're going to do is just go to the settings. I'm going to go to the settings here, go to the apps, and uninstall AutoHotkey or reinstall AutoHotkey. Let me see if it allows me to do that. There it is. Yeah, it doesn't allow me to modify it. So hold on. Do you have the executable for installing again?
I don't know.
Let me double check. So probably you do not. Joe, can you take control for a bit? I have to pick something up at the door. I'm sorry.
Well, why don't let's I just say just not even worry about it, uninstalling it, reinstall. But yeah, go ahead, Azaz.
But later I'll do that. I'll put it into the D
That's what
drive.
I would do. Yeah, and that way you get to keep it on your D drive, which it sounds like that's what you want, right? I have let me think about it. I have a video. Yeah, I'll put it in the live in the chat here in Zoom, and I put it in YouTube. But that'll take you to a place explaining the library and how it can be used, and it is a slightly advanced topic, but it's really, really helpful. So it's a good one to take a look at and understand. But yeah, so yeah, and so let's back up a step with using Automate My Task. Can you go ahead and launch Automate My Task, or is it still open? Can you just switch to it? Sorry, I had switched over to the YouTube, which was delayed, and I'm like, yeah, any time now.
So this one?
No, the actual GUI one that we were running.
Yeah, so that would be like F5, I think.
No, well, these are instances of different scripts, which is fine. But the one that in the folder, if you go back where Automate My Task, where we extracted everything.
Yeah.
I think that was, yeah. So just double click that.
Oh,
so
painful, yeah.
So most people that come to AutoHotkey, right? They come to it and the first things they do, which is how I did it too, right? Is I learned hot strings, hotkeys, and basically imitating a human. Like it will search the screen for a picture, and that's mostly what Automate My Task does. Is it looks for pictures, right? And the picture can be of anything, but just it's looking for a picture. And Automate My Task is kind of cool because it'll automatically limit where it's searching. So if you have a lot of monitors, it does a good job often of limiting it, so it's pretty fast. But here's the quick summary is like everything you're doing here is it will probably work fine on your computer, but if you gave this to another person or ran it even on a second computer or whatever, images can be slightly different, what you're searching for. And so when you automate stuff via where you're looking for images or sending mouse clicks and stuff, they're just not that reliable. And again, it'll work usually fine on one computer, but when you try to do stuff on multiple computers, that's where things start breaking down, right? But the thing is, when I realized this the other day, humans, like it's so easy for us to go, well, wait a minute, I need to click here. Oh, I'm going to do a mouse click there, right? Well, there's a lot of other ways you could actually trigger that same action programmatically, but it's programmatically, right? So it's just more advanced. But
right.
So just keep it in mind of like, it's a good way to start, but there are far more robust ways for doing stuff. But I don't want to scare you because it's how we all start. Don't get me wrong, right? Like it's just
yeah.
I kind of don't want to learn bad habits though, but I get what you mean. Like, I need to kind of walk before I can run, I guess, maybe.
Here's the really sort of bad part is because people will say, well, then what should I learn? I'm like, well, it depends on the program you're trying to automate, because depending on the program you're trying to connect to, that's what then you say, oh, if it's Excel or Outlook or Word, hey, there's a COM object which I can it's like VBA, right? In the sense I can really automate it. If it was Notepad or Site here, controls work really well, or even the file menu structure at the top. That's a whole different approach too. So it just depends on the program you're trying to automate on which approach to take. So this is why we're like, yeah, it's fine starting off with imitating humans and setting keystrokes. And by the way, have you used both hotkeys and hot strings?
So I started off with hot strings.
Okay, cool.
And that's
my favorite.
That changed my life.
Yeah, amen. Yeah.
So yeah, so
So
I
you're
love it.
going, you're going to the next step. So at this point, the only thing that you have to understand about what we're doing right now, for example, you see in that script where you are right now,
Yeah,
whenever you want to automate something, you can just add it here, but there's a section at the top. So if you just put, yeah, this section at the top, right before line 6, gets executed automatically. Whatever is between lines 5 and 6, if you add more stuff there, gets executed automatically. Sometimes if you add more code to the bottom of your code of your script, if it is not a hotkey or a hot string like you have right there, it might not work the first time. Then just keep in mind that it should be put at the beginning of the script, just because that's part of what most people kind of find confusing.
And Isaias, or well, actually, I can. This is pretty easy, Kylie. See on your line 7 there, where you're sending spaces 4 times.
yeah,
Here's a great simple shortcut, which you may or may not know, is after the first, inside the first one where the brackets are after the word space, go to the right of it, hit the space bar,
Yeah,
and put 4.
and then delete the other ones.
Yeah, or just go, or you can comment them out or whatever you want.
Right, exactly.
This is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's a really handy thing to be able to do. Now, actually, I'll do you one better, which is a really cool one to know. So like you're sending 4 spaces. Sometimes you might be doing something where you want to say hi and then type the person's name. How are you? Right? Well, if you, instead of using space, you could say left 16. And after it sends the hi, comma, how are you? It would be over here, and then it would move back 16 spaces, which I'm making that number up, right? It'll move back to right after the hi, so you could type the person's name. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So sometimes, sorry,
So this could be a tab. So this could be the word tab.
Yes,
and then
that could be
tab.
that could be a tab. Yes.
Okay, that's
And
cool.
tab or left or right or up or down. Yeah.
there's a list of keys that you can send using the bracket notation. I don't know if you know about the page that has the key listed, but in the help file, there is a page. If you look for list of keys,
I put it in the chat. I have
Right,
it on my homepage because I use it so often. It's just a handy reference.
so for anybody who is interested in this type of things, you can click on that link that Joe sent in the chat, and it would give you a list of all the available key names that you can use in bracket notation like that. And any of those keys, if you put a number right next to it, it would send it as many times as you refer to in there.
That's cool.
Oh, and one more while we're on it. If you ever try to automate a browser, which is I'm sure at some point you will be doing, it's one of the most complicated things you can do, but you can navigate often by sending tabs in between the spots, right? So at your level, like that's where, if you do start automating a browser, that's where, just remember, you could tab often to the next thing, right? Send 8 tabs to get to the next input field. If you needed to do like username and password or something like that, right? It's highly reliable. It's not the best approach in the world, but still it's fast.
It usually works. Yeah.
It usually works. Yeah.
Right. Now, at this point, so I don't know if anybody has any questions regarding this topic before I ask you, Kylie, any other questions. I see Pavel unmuted himself.
I have a question regarding the browser.
We're going to wait on that one because usually browsers take a little bit more time to explain or automate. But what I wanted to explain, I don't know, and this is the thing. So Kylie, I'm taking control of the computer right now so I can show you something. What we were referring to about adding the function into a library that is going to be called automatically is a way to do it, right? But you can always, and this is something that you can do in any script, you can create any functions, and a function is just a collection of actions that you're going to perform one after the other, and you just name it. So let's name it show a box, for example. And this might be interesting for any other people out there. So you put the name and you put parentheses after it, and then you define the actions or the group of actions that you're going to perform, like show, so message box, for example, this is a test. And then after that, I want to show another message box, and it could be any action. It could be sending keystrokes. It could be anything you want. But this is the second box. Now, the funny thing is that after you have a group of actions defined this way, the next time in your script, it could be a hotkey. I don't know if you have any hotkeys set up here. Oh yeah, you do. So you could, at any point, set a hotkey, let's say Control P or something, doesn't matter. And you can call that function by just naming it like that. So now, whenever you hit Control P, AutoHotkey will know that you want to perform that sequence of actions. Does that make sense? And
yeah,
that allows you to perform very complex tasks and group your stuff into logical units that then you don't have to list the whole group of things. You just call it once, and now you have a name for it. And whenever you call that name, all those actions are performed. So that's
it
what
kind
is
of like jumps from the
right. It jumps from here, executes
back,
everything on that function, and then comes back to whatever is here. And you can actually add more actions down here if you want. That doesn't matter. But it will perform all the actions of the function and then continue executing. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is just to get you familiarized, because you will have to, whenever you use the automate my task, that is what this is calling here. When we export the whole thing, when we export the whole function. So let's go ahead and capture something. So let me see, hold on. It seems to me that you have F1 set up. Can you press, well, no, I can just do it here. Let's just do this. Can you press F1 on your keyboard, please? Press it again. So when I hit export, what this thing is doing, which is what you saw before, is that it's giving you two things. It's giving you the function itself. You see this function right here? All of this is a function, which you can put anywhere in your code. I could put it at the bottom here, as I did with the show box. I could put it there. But now it means that whenever I want to perform these actions, I just name it of whatever I want. It could be in a hotkey, it could be anywhere. And that's what is going on line 7. I'm calling the function with certain parameters, certain options in it, and it would jump and do the actions and then continue executing. So basically, that's the whole idea. I wanted to get you a little bit familiarized because that's what you are going to be doing. But the funny thing is, what you have to keep in mind, functions can only be defined once. That's the reason why you have this option here, just the function call, so that it doesn't bring the whole function over again, because you already have it, right? So now if you export again, you just get the function call, which now you can paste. But remember, that function must be defined in your script somewhere at least once. Okay, so
in one of the three spots.
In one of the that was the other part. We wanted to define it once in a place that AutoHotkey always looks for it there, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. That's the whole concept of it. So until you have it set up properly, that is in one of the folders, just know that if you're going to use the tool, just have to make sure that the function is at least defined once in your script, and then you just call the actions that you want to perform. That's it. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. Thank you so much.
There you go. So I'm going to delete all this because we don't know if you're going to be using that for now. But that is a concept that is good, and everybody should at least have familiarize themselves with functions, because this is, as Joe says, like a step up in your game.
Hold on, stop.
Yeah.
Go back to the top, undelete what you removed, because I do want to hammer home one last point.
Okay, give me just a second.
Just Control Z should.
I see, yeah, the things that I was actually annotating on the screen, and then Control Z does.
Oh, okay. So
something else, right? So let me just do it manually here. Yeah, there you go.
The point being, this is what Isaiah was mentioning earlier. When you launch your script, it'll start at the top as going through. So this one, if you launch it, would actually do that. But maybe you don't want it to do that right away. This is where you would put a hotkey in front of it.
For example, Control, L or something, so that it doesn't execute automatically. It just, so that way it doesn't execute automatically until you hit the hotkey.
Yeah, and then if you wanted it to do 2 actions, you would just, add a line after line 8 before the return and put your second thing there. Maybe a
right,
because you're doing images. But yeah,
but you can perform multiple actions. Let's go ahead and try this again. Now I am trying to.
That's a horrible image.
Right, it is a very bad image, but it gives me a second call. Now, as I already defined the function somewhere, I just need the function call. I don't need to define the function again. So I will export this. Now I have a second action. And now this is interesting because the tool automatically grabs all the actions that you have listed here and gives you all the actions at once. So now I'm going to put it, now I have 2 calls. You see that?
Yeah.
So I have 2 calls for the same function. The only thing that changes is the parameters. The parameters are ways of telling the function what to do. But as you see, I just have the function calls in my hotkey here. And now the function is that when I press Control L, is going to perform 2 different actions using the same function that I have defined once. That's the whole concept of it. And once you get a little bit the hang of this, you are going to find it very easy, because you just grab different locations that you want to click on the screen, export it, and paste it. That's it.
Just for fun, hit display matches on that one, because I'm really curious.
That would be really, really interesting what it would do. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, there are several.
Yeah. So this is where, if not that we would do it, but let's say, oh, I want the 6th one. See where it says choose, actually number 18 for whatever reason was coming up on that choose match on the GUI. That's where you would change that to 18. Well,
so here on the GUI where it says choose match here, you can choose a specific match if you want. Well, I want the number 6 only. And that would be the one that I actually want to click. And it would know what to do with that.
Okay. And then one last one on this. In the bottom left where the mouse actions are,
here
we were performing by default, and this is where
left click.
Well, it's a control, it's actually sending a control click by default. And this is where I said some programs respond in certain ways and some don't. A lot of them do. So that's our default action. If it doesn't work, then you select the actual click, and it's literally going to move your mouse over to where it was and send the click.
So there.
Highly reliable. It's just kind of annoying because if you're moving your mouse or whatever, it'll interact with it.
Exactly.
And you can put that restore position. It'll move the mouse back if you wanted it to. But
right. But in general, the main idea of the tool is to actually generate these function calls.
Right.
Remember, you have it defined once, but then you can call it as many times as you want with different parameters. And this tool, what it allows you to do is kind of like define this function for you without you having to think about all these parameters, because there's a lot of things that actually go on that function. But it allows you to just do that without having to think too much about it.
I have a good series of videos on functions. I put the link in the chat and over my head here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the functions, they are by far the best level up things you can learn to really simplify your life, honestly. Like it's and they're not hard either to like get the hang of.
Right. So I'm going to comment the code. I'm not going to delete it. So in case you want to reference it later and think about it, But for now, I'm just gonna create comments there so that they don't interfere with your other script. Anything that is in comment is ignored. So I'm just setting the block comment characters, which is these two that you see there. And that way, nothing else will interfere with your script. If you reload your script, it should work exactly as it was before, because I'm just telling it to ignore everything that we just added there. And I'm just keeping it there so that you have a little bit of time to wrap your head around it. Don't think too much about this one, because this is really advanced stuff. But the main part is this: how calling a function, how that particular function would be called several times if you had several actions, several steps. Okay.
Yeah, we actually tried to remove the storing of the steps just because I found it
Too
confusing.
many.
It's just easier to have them individually, but we haven't really done much with this tool in a while now, but yeah.
Right.
So
I think Pavel had a question right queued up. So let's see if we can actually give him at least some kind of pointer or direction, because if it is browser, it's going to take a little bit longer than you think, what you might expect. So go ahead.
Okay, so let me just share the screen or just the script, because I have a really wide part of the screen. Wait a second. And here I can. Okay, perfectly. So here I have my script, and I'm also new to AutoHotkey, even newer. Basically, what I try to do is understanding.
Al, you're coming through like crazy loud. So
right.
just
can you put the
yeah, it's okay. Just either whisper, or talk softer, or adjust the thing. But yeah, it's really, really loud.
right.
I forgot about
that now you're too low.
Okay. Wait a second now.
That's
There
okay.
you go. There you
That's
go.
good.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so once again, I want to automate my my daily task. So basically, when I'm translating, I tend to look up for any terms, and when I'm in a memo queue, for example, a specific cat tool, I have a special dedicated plugin for it, so it does the job for me. But when I want to move, for example, to the Word, Excel, or any other program, I want to perform the same task. So I wanted to create a script where it activates the browser. The first thing that it is gonna do is copy the term that I selected, for example, like this, into the clipboard. Then if the browser is not on, then it activates it, and then it replaces the current tab with the link. The problem is that I don't want to increment the tabs. So right now, when I activate it, give me a second. One tab. Okay, but it's running. Okay. If I, for example, select Chrome and I click it, then it would
try to perform the action.
Yes.
Sometimes
it was working basically a minute ago.
Yeah. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, man.
Okay,
it's not that simple. It is activating the window, right? But it is not really finding. And I was surprised. Let me see. Right. So I think these lines right there that you have there for activating the window, right? If it is not detecting the window as being active, it will not do that, what you have there. So Can you put where it says set timer label off? Just above that.
Mhm,
No, the below, go down,
mhm.
there. So if you above that line, just create a new line above the set timer,
Above the set timer, of
right?
course.
Just put a tooltip there. Tooltip, say true,
Uh,
just the word true.
like
It doesn't matter.
okay,
Yeah, yeah, just true.
True.
Because I want to verify that that is actually getting executed. So reload your script. And by the way,
Mhm.
let's do this. Go to the top of the script first. Yeah, because of this little message right there. Or can I have control for a second?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so let me show you this. It's good always to have single instance
But
course.
spot on as far as always, it's one of the first tests to do is confirm you're actually where, getting to where you think you're getting.
Right. So what is happening is this line right here gets rid of that annoying message that says, hey, the script is already running. This actually forces the script to reload. And here I'm just making sure that we're actually getting there, because it seems to be that we're not getting there. That's what happens. So if this is true, the first thing I wanted to do is to show me a tooltip where the mouse is. It's a little bug. So let's go ahead and rerun the script now. You can go ahead and do it.
Okay, and now to here and
You see, I don't get any tooltips. So that is never getting executed. That's what is going on. So if you go back to the node file, see, so this check that you're performing is failing. Okay. Now let's try this. Let's try putting some parentheses here. And I will explain if this works. Reload the script and try again. I'm still kind of like not thinking if that would work. Right, you see, that's not working. So here's the thing. Where the script is, you see the little icon from the script, right click on it. The script, when it's running, it has a little icon on the taskbar, right click on it.
On the taskbar, yeah?
Yes. And there,
wait a second, I will expand the.
yeah,
Okay.
so on the taskbar, yeah, right click on one of those, it doesn't matter which one, right click on it. And you see where it says Windows Spy, take that.
Wait a second, because I have two instances that are similar to each other. Because
that might interfere. Yes. Let's try that.
Okay. Once again, the word.
You're still not getting the tooltip,
No.
Which is basically what we're trying to determine. And I am almost certain that it has to do with this particular test. So in the icon, let me show you something. Whenever you have this icon here, you can right click on it and use the Windows Spy tool, which allows you to get here a view of what the title actually is, right? So now we could copy that. Let's go back to the script. We could just right click edit, right? Now, this is interesting because this one is probably, basically this one is misspelled, I think. No, that's okay. But this, I saw that you have the title match mode 2, which is match anywhere, but Opera was not showing up. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's try this. Try it again.
But now I think it limits the tab that it won't reload unless I have on the current tab of Google.
Don't worry. Let's try something else.
Okay.
I'm just checking on something. I'm just making sure that this line gets executed.
Mhm. Okay, so
I'm just trying to understand how you can read anything.
Because I'm young.
Yeah, it's so small.
oh, okay.
You see now that the true thing showed up. You see that? So as I mentioned, what is going on is, let's go back to the script, please.
Okay, okay.
Oh, I was looking on YouTube. Oh, it's so much easier on the Zoom. Yeah. Sorry.
Is this? No, that is not the script that we had.
Okay. Sorry.
Probably. Yeah.
I have three in
Yeah. Can you
instances
close
of the
them all?
same.
Yeah. Can you close them all? Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
And this-
So reload the script. Let's reload the script and try it again, just to make sure that that was really what fixed it. Okay.
Okay. So I have situations, and now.
No, so right now it's not going to work because the title doesn't say Chrome Opera, right? It has to be a blank tab. You have to open a blank tab.
So
Leave
but-
it there. So hold on. I'm sorry. Open a new tab.
But the problem is that when, of course, it worked, it replaced the current tab. It was great, and then added the second tab with the second the second search.
Right.
So
it was
basically, I
here-
thought about an idea to make not make, but for example, Chrome will be my only device for searching,
this,
and then for example, I would before the input here, before the input, I would create a shortcut for delete two tabs.
No. So what I'm looking at is this line right here, Alt D. What does Alt D do? Can you press Alt D on your keyboard, please?
Okay. So it selects the link here.
Right. I thought it was Alt L or F6. I think it was. Oh, in Opera is different. So Alt D selects it. Okay. I was kind of confused by that. But after you do that, so if you paste, let me see, what do you have? Oh, you don't have your history there. Is that what it's doing? And when you hit send, oh, that should search it on the own window. That is interesting. Hold on, because you are sending something else. Let me just 1 second. Can you go back to the script? Yeah. This is what you're doing.
What someone just mentioned in the chat.
Control L. Yeah, I remember that there was a way of doing that. But here's the thing. If you put this here and hit enter, does that open a new tab? No, it should navigate on the same one. That's an interesting thing. Control L. Let's try Control L, because what I'm looking at is that your can you go back to the script, please?
Yeah.
Let's try here Control L instead, because if you are up there and you send that, it should navigate on the same tab you're in. Oh, hold on. You're sending a new tab here. Why are you sending a new tab?
But because that's the second website. So basically, I want to create, for example, 5 tabs where I have Glossby, Microsoft Term, Deepl, and so on.
Okay. Now here's the thing. So hold on. This one is searching correctly. Now you're creating a new tab and trying to navigate on that second tab to a different place. Is that so? You want to have 2 tabs open?
Yes. But now when I want to do it again, it will leave the first tab alone, and then it opens another 2. So basically, after each search, I have one tab open it more.
Right.
And
I'm going to
that's-
tell you.
That's what
I'm gonna
I
tell
wanted
you,
to avoid.
Right. So the reason for that is this set timer right here. So this set timer is too fast and is calling your label twice very quickly. And it might not be what you want. So I'm going to tell you something. This is getting a little bit more complex than we want to really dive into. But the situation is the way how you're calling this label right here might not be the way how you want it to do. You might want to rethink this timer thing, because the timer, think about a timer as a loop. Okay.
Mhm.
It's just that it's not really called a loop, but it is a loop. It's actually repeating the code over and over. The fact that it is working fine the first time, but the second time it creates 2 more tabs, I would assume is because the timer is being called twice, because the timing of this is too fast.
Well, one other thing is, and this is where Isaias is usually using VS Code, but you could use other editors, but being able to step through it,
And
that's
see
where
what
it
is going, yeah.
help you understand what's going on. And when you use an editor like Notepad, you're SOL, right? You don't have an option.
Yeah, you don't have much to work with. But what I would say, just at least to point you in the right direction, the main issue I see here is the set timer. I'm not really sure why you want to loop through it. There might be a reason, but I particularly wouldn't use that.
It is a solution proposed from
in the
yeah.
forums. Well, let me tell you something. You could use the run command with, say, for example, Chrome. Let's say, for example, that it could be anything, and you can pass it several websites like this: google.com, whatever the website is, search equals test, and then you put a space, or you can put quotation marks around it like this, and it would open all the tabs at once. Like you say one command and it opens 5 tabs, because you can have facebook.com and then another tab, test.com. So if you run this, you could, instead of using a timer, as you were mentioning, you could run the command once, and this command knows to open 5 new tabs, for example, at once. With the things that you put, you can have variables in there too. So you can have variables for the search here. So let's say,
but for example, if I want reuse the tab, it is possible to not open another 5 tabs and another 5 tabs.
Yes, it is possible, but that is with a different library. Just doing it like this, how you're doing it, is easier for me to close Chrome. You can just close chrome.exe and then run it with 5 tabs, but you cannot really automate. You can, it's just that it's more complicated than you might realize. So the point is what I was saying before, automating browsers is a very deep topic. There is a library, you can search for it, Rufadium. The guy who created the library is here. His name is Irfan.
Can you write it in the comment on the script?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
But he might have a way to there is a link there, not only with the library, but a few videos on how to use it. That library might give you an easier way of doing what you're trying to do. It's just that it's not as simple as you might think.
Well, first off, you're using classes, right?
Right.
It's, the other one though is I'd still say you might throw out there is the using an extension like the auto.
That might be another, yeah, that might be another option.
I have
that is
also a second solution to that, and I was thinking about this one. If this is not the better solution of it.
Well, basically, that's the solution that I'm referring to. In this case, you're trying to do a search in the desktop or whatever. But again,
yes, in the
right,
software.
right. But notice that you're just doing one search that it will perform the full actions. I think instead of using a timer trying to perform the actions one by one, it's better to have one action that opens the 5 tabs. Now, regarding reusing existing tabs, yeah, we could go deep into that. It's not as easy as you think. I would recommend you using the library.
Because then that is the main problem of my scripts.
Well, we might want, so there's a few things. Again, a 1 hour call is not going to cut it for us to kind of like explain how to do this, but you could use a loop. You see what we were talking about before with Kaylee, which was using the send. You could use the control tab to loop over the tabs. So if you're here, if you go to your browser and you press control tab, it loops. Can you try it? Just click on the browser and just control tab. No, control tab. Yeah. Can you let go of one of them?
Okay.
It just actually loops through the tabs. Okay. Now in Chrome, actually, it just goes to the tab. In here, it looks like it has kind of like a preview kind of thing. But you could use that to loop through the existing tabs and press control tab to go to the next tab, Alt D to get to the top of it, and then send the link that you want. So it would reuse the existing ones. That's one way of doing it. But again, it's not as simple as it looks.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so thank you for the information.
You're welcome. In the chat, Joe gave you a link to the Refadium library. Just take a look at it. Might help you go in the right direction.
And Ray, you said you had a question, Ray? Is it something we can squeeze in right now? We got 3 minutes, but
maybe. I'm just looking for the share this screen button, and oh dear, I'm all confused now.
Zoom does that.
There.
Zoom does that. Right? It's just Zoom. It does that. We always fight with the share button.
Share. I want to share this. Is that the right screen? Yes. Okay. I'm trying. Do you see?
Yes.
Video. Okay. I'm trying to use VS Code to learn and practice writing AutoHotkey scripts.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I've got this code loaded here, and I press run.
Right.
And nothing seems to happen. I'm
let me
lost.
let me go ahead and stop you right there. What we're going to do is this. Let's take this to the other call, because it's going to take a little bit longer to explain, because this has to do with VS Code more than AutoHotkey. But in general, there are some configurations that are automatic, and we have to make sure that that configuration is done correctly. That's all. So we will see that in a bit.
Okay, thank you.
And just to finish up, because we saw a couple different editors here, right? And Kylie is using Site for AutoHotkey, which is a solid editor. The great thing also, Kylie, it has debugging built into it as well, a lot of other stuff. The thing is, which maybe any of you guys have also talked about, is there's AutoHotkey V1, and V2 is about to become official probably very soon. It doesn't mean you have to switch, but if you do switch, right now, the really only option for an editor, a solid editor at least, is VS Code if you're using V2.
That's right. That's right.
I still use Studio, AutoHotkey Studio. I'm still predominantly, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm solely in V1. However, we just started working on, which actually, thanks, Ray, for bringing it up, the topic of the GPT-3. We did some videos on it, and it's still not where I think anyone wants it to be, but it is interesting and it's fun to play with. So we started working on a script in version 2 of AutoHotkey for playing with the GPT-3. So I'm going to start learning how to use that. And for that, I'll be using VS Code because it's the only option.
The only one right now. That's how it goes.
Jump over to the hero call. Thank you all for being here. Like the video if you guys enjoyed it and learned something, because it really helps get a lot more views. And thank you. We'll see you guys in the hero room for those that are heroes. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you. Goodbye.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Welcome.